Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling one of the biggest questions out there, AI and our jobs. But we're going to skip the speculation and jump straight into what the real-world data is telling us right now.
It's the question that's everywhere, right? Is AI coming for my job? You see the headlines, you hear all this talk about automation and replacement, and honestly, it can feel a little intense.
But here's the thing. Predictions are just that. They're guesses. If you want real answers, you have to look at what people are actually doing with this technology. And that's exactly why this landmark Microsoft research paper is so cool. It moves us past the what-ifs and into the what-is. Okay, so the researchers started with a really groundbreaking idea. They realized that to truly measure AI's impact, you can't just look at the job itself. You have to make a distinction between what the human wants to do and what the AI actually does to help. And this difference is absolutely key. So let's say your goal is to figure out a new piece of office equipment, like a printer. You ask the AI for help. Now, in that moment, the AI's action isn't operating the printer for you. It's training you on how to use it. See that split? That separation is what unlocks this entire analysis. So how'd they pull it off? Well, first, they took a look at a massive data set. We're talking 200,000 real, anonymized conversations people had with Microsoft Copilot. Then they did something brilliant. They mapped every single one of those interactions to the ONET database, which is this huge government catalog of basically every job imaginable and all the little tasks that make it up. And from all that, they created one single AI applicability score for each occupation. All right, so this is the moment of truth. After all that work, after sifting through all that data, what are people actually using AI for on the job? And here is our first huge insight. Just look at this gap. About 35% of the time, people were asking Copilot for help with getting information. But when you look at the entire workforce, that same task only accounts for about 10% of all work activity. The takeaway here is massive. People are overwhelmingly turning to AI to be their information and knowledge partner. This really gets to the core finding of the whole paper. The AI, as the researchers put it, is acting in a service role. It's a coach, an advisor, a teacher. This totally reframes the conversation, doesn't it? It's not about replacement, it's about support and augmentation. Okay, so that brings us to the million-dollar question. Based on this data, which jobs are most affected? Let's take a look at the scores. So, right at the top of the list, we've got interpreters and translators with the highest score. And right behind them, sales reps, writers, and customer service reps. The common thread here is pretty obvious, right? These are jobs that live and breathe language and communication. Now, seeing sales reps up there might seem a little surprising at first, but when you really think about it, it makes perfect sense. What's the core of a sales job? It's providing information, answering questions, explaining technical details, all things that line up perfectly with what this AI is great at supporting. And on the flip side, well, this is probably what you'd expect. Jobs that demand a lot of physical labor and direct, hands-on work have the lowest scores. For now, roles like nursing assistants, roofers, and truck operators are the least affected by these kinds of AI tools. So let's zoom out. How does this one study fit into the bigger picture? Is this just a one-off finding, or does this real-world data actually line up with what experts have been thinking all along? Okay, this is really fascinating. The researchers took their data-driven scores and compared them to what experts had previously predicted about AI's impact. And the result? A correlation of 0.91. To put that in simple terms, that's an almost perfect match. The real-world data is powerfully backing up the expert predictions. The data also shows a really clear trend with education. On average, jobs that require a bachelor's degree or higher have a much greater AI applicability score. This just reinforces that idea that AI's biggest initial impact is happening in the world of knowledge work. But here is one of the most surprising findings, and it kind of pushes back against a really common story. We always hear that AI is coming for the highest paying jobs. Well, this data says, not so fast. The study found almost no link, a very weak correlation between how much a job pays and its AI applicability. This isn't just a high-wage story. AI's impact cuts across the entire economic board.
So when you put it all together, this data doesn't paint a picture of job replacement. It paints a picture of partnership. It shows AI stepping into the role of a coach, an advisor, an assistant, which means the big question isn't whether AI is coming for your job, it's that AI is here, ready to be your new coworker. And that leaves us with a much more interesting question. How are you going to use this powerful new partner to completely reshape the way you work?